and good day, friends. Welcome. Hopefully you'll enjoy your visit with me. My name is Ted. Of course, you know that by now. Anyway, today, as promised, I'm looking at my fixed blade knives. It's taken a while, a number of tries with an antiquated video camera that my software wouldn't even work with. So therefore I had to put that aside, and I'll give it to a friend who's a collector. Today we're talking about my fixed blade knives, and I've got them in order of what I purchased them, and we'll start with that, shall we? Okay, so we're going to start off with my Puma, and it's a trail guide, and I'll bring it up a bit, but I can't really see the image that you can see, and so hopefully that will show okay for you. Anyway, yes, it's suffering. You can see the green oxidization. Yeah, the thong is long gone. It was used for something along the way. And the thong at the back here, it's also long gone. So, we'll undo it. Take it out, shall we? Now, and I have to grip it gently because it is sharp. Okay, so this Puma trail guide, it was a gift from my wife for my Father's Day in 1975. From the markings on the serial number, it was made the fourth quarter of 1974, and therefore it didn't sit on the shelf too awfully long. As you can see, it fits my hand well. I love it. It's got this, I do believe they call it jimping on the back of the blade, actually right from here to here. So it's beautiful like this to use it. Now, for me, when we purchased it, the only reservation I had really is the tip. And you can see the upsweep there a bit. I would like to have had a drop point, not available at that time, and a knife that I like the grip of. It was comfortable. Okay, this one has got the most tales to tell. It participated in the harvest of at least a dozen white-tailed deer, as well as a hunter that we came across when we were out hunting deer had harvested a elk, and he was trying to quarter it, and his knife was not adequate for him, he thought. The fact that he didn't know how to sharpen it, I guess. Anyway, this has been my very much treasured item. The fellow that borrowed it offered me $175 plus his Puma stainless steel Skinner. Right, I got it right. I turned him down. I said, no, this is a gift for my wife, and my youngest son has looked at it longingly. No, my son, he's not getting it either. Where it's going to end up, I don't know. Anyway, it has been faithful. The best it did that I asked of it, one day I field dressed and skinned 3 white-tailed deer without touching anything to the blade to sharpen it or to touch it up. Next in line, I always chuckle the SOS imprinted on it, and I'm hoping you can see that okay. Now, this knife I purchased in Winnipeg when I moved here in, let's see, that would be 1983. For deer season, I decided I needed to have a backup knife. As you well know, damage can happen to a knife blade and render it, well, not impractical, I guess either. That's not the right word. Anyway, difficult to use. It gets sharp or it gets damaged. So, here it is. You fold it like this, pull back, push down like that, and there you have it. And I hear neighbors walking by, and that's okay. This one is a Benchmade. I think you should be able to see it there. If not, if you zoom in a little bit, and I can't control what is displaying on the camera. Okay, so this one, what's unique about it? It was my backup. The blade's 1/8 of an inch or real close to it, and it's got a nice flat grind on it. What I like, you start right from here to here, from here around the back, if it's open, you can throw a spark with a ferrocerium rod just fine. It fits my hand, not too bad. It's not very thick, of course, as you can see, but that's okay. Now when I close the knife, of course, there. Now we go from here all the way around to here. Throws a spark. I've tested it and it works well. Now, yes, you see the hexagon blades, wrenches. Somebody might need to use it for that someday, I guess, but they're lightning holes. From 1/2 inch down to 11/32. This knife came with the lanyard, and it has been carried in my fanny pack or all these years, a backup. Rarely used because Old Faithful never failed me. Okay, I decided when I got back into hunting that I'd had a hiatus of about 20 years where I didn't hunt. My wife didn't want me to hunt because I didn't have a hunting companion. And so when I went back to hunting, I wanted to protect the puma. I didn't want to lose it because my wife was ill, suffering from a life-threatening illness. And so that I wanted to keep it as a treasure. Now this one looks rather good, doesn't it? I gotta admit, it does. Okay, it didn't come this way. The sheath was locally made for me in Winnipeg at a tactical shop. It came with this blade, with this sheath. And this is a Benchmade. I forget the model name. It was some kind of Skinner, I do believe. Well-made sheath. Piece of garbage, usability-wise, in the bush. Okay. First hunting trip, first morning, I was putting on my belt with my fanny pack, my compass. I have a compass pouch with a compass in it, and a knife. My granddaughter said, "Grandpa, your knife is on the ground." And yes, it was. And terribly disappointed I was because you see, right about here, had the part of the blade you use the most, a nick. Yes. So, I finished the hunting trip, I harvested a deer, and it worked fine. When I got home, I contacted Benchmade, and yeah, they knew I was not impressed and I was not happy. A fantastic knife. Again, you can see it's comfortable in my hand. I like the jimping on here, and if I slide it forward for skinning, up here. Not sharp, but there, you got the friction. Okay, the knife is actually field dressed and skinned and actually butchered a deer. And my first deer in 20 years of not going hunting, so I felt good about that. I like the fact that I can rest my thumb on the side here, on either side. If you're left or right-handed, no problem, it's there. It's got enough here, that the swell, that my fingers don't tend to want to slide at all. It was very good, even when it was covered with blood and such. It was extremely well. I brought it home, and I phoned Benchmade, and I said, you know, this is not good. I was really upset, and I'll just show you this while I'm talking. Okay, so you should be able to see, I'm hoping anyway, it's number 6 of 200, first production run. Anyway, the fellow said, well, you can send it back and we'll fix your blade. I said, it's still hunting season. Right. So, tech support, they gave me a credit. And with that, I made a purchase of my Benchmade folder. Okay, and this one is marked with S. It's either an S or a 530V. I take it that could be the model number. I don't think it would be the steel, but it could be the steel. Anyway, treasure it. It's a good knife, and I reserve it for hunting knife. Had the sheath made, like I said, It holds it well. It's not going anywhere. You have to pull it out, and it pulls out readily once you unlock it. I had them make the loop and put in a ferrocerium rod, and this one is made by Solo Scientific. It unscrews, the striker's on the bottom, and it's reversible, so you can actually, if it gets dull, unscrew it and turn it around, or turn it upside down, so there's 4 edges for throwing a spark. And I'm sure by that time the rod itself will be up for replacement, and you can always obtain another striker as well. So the only thing with the sheath I'm not content with is the loop. The loop is the right length for me. That way that I'm not getting the knife jabbing me in the ribs. But I've got to come up with a better solution, and I'm going to work on that this year. See if we can't come up with something better that will sort of mimic the next knife, which is, I'm sure a lot of folks will recognize it. It's a Cold Steel. My friend has one, except for the tip doesn't look that way. It's a Tano tip. I'm guilty of putting a little thumb thing on there so that I could use it for chopping. It's still a little stiff. It doesn't get used as much. It came with a black coated blade, and you can see it's reminiscent in the lettering. And I turn on the SIRK lettering, you can see it there too, and other spots. I shaved it with a razor, and then a razor knife, and then I polished it with 3M Scotch-Brite and a Dremel tool. Okay, anything I don't like about it? Well, I guess I'm still not used to this part here being a semi-sharp. It's not really sharp, but you whack it with a wood doing anything like that, and it'll chip it up. It holds a good edge. Now, I ordered this one, and while it was in the mail, I was watching, I discovered Survival Lily, and she was showing her blade, her SRK, and I forget what model it was. It was a predecessor. I have a VG1 steel, and hers was, had an 8 in the number, and I didn't write it down, so of course I don't remember. Anyway, so this is my Ruffet knife. I must admit, I don't have a camp knife per se yet. Not that I would call a dedicated camp knife. But anyway, the SRK, I do like its sheath. Have thought about putting a ferrocerium rod on the side. It's got lots of space to put it on. I like the heavier webbing, the strap, and as well the retainer has got the snap instead of Velcro on it, and I like that, and I just might try and make up the same type of thing to go for this one, because the back the 2 screws here will allow us to take the back off and change that strapping. Okay, so that's that one. Gotta admit, he's had a bit of use. The next one I got here, I wanted a knife for everything. That's hard, right? How do you do that? Ah, goodness. When I look at some of the postings on YouTube, and I think of Prepared Mind 101 and his creations, designs, and some of the other folks there, there's let's face it, an awful lot. This one is Light My Fire, and yeah, it's stiff too, that's good. And this is a Mora stainless. It does have a sharp spine on it, and it does throw a spark well, which of course you would expect it to when it comes with this feature. You turn it and slide it out, and there's the ferrocerium rod. And yes, now if I try it now, it probably won't work because I'm recording, but anyway, okay, you can see it. It does it very well. Now, I know the rod is, I'm going to call it a 3/16 rod. It's not real big, but it does well. It came with the lanyard as well, and I like the way it's sharpened too. Moras, I've had them since I was a kid, I'm going to say about 11 or so. When I became a Boy Scout down in southern Ontario, Canada, I just had to have a knife. And the Mora, the old red-handled, rust-colored Mora, was the one that almost everybody got. Now, this one, I've altered the case a little bit, the scabbard a little bit, because I snap it onto the webbing on my water bottle carrier, and that's where this one goes. So when I go hiking with a water bottle, it's got it's got an alcohol stove in it, a pot, and or a cup, and some other stuff like that, so that I can make myself coffee or whatever on the trail. Just going out for a walk, I take it along, and it's one of the few knives here. It and the next one, the Puma, are the only ones that have not drawn blood on Ted so far. And this is a Puma SGB series, and when you look at it, goodness, it's small, right? Oh goodness. But I wanted knives for all of my kits. I was in Cabela's one day, and they had these on display. Winnipeg, the Cabela's store, around, I'm going to say around $75 or so, maybe more or less. This one is the SGB Blacktail, and it just says German steel, and there's a number on there that doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, it's got a good sharp spine too. 3 fingers, and you say, well, that's not much, but I knew a guy that used a knife with a blade that was a third less the size of this one. No problems field dressing and skinning a deer with it because he forgot his belt knife. So it is possible. It's got a great edge. It came with it, and I just polished it a bit on my leather strap that I use for my wood carving. It's got a lanyard hole here if you want to. And so I purchased the following week. The flyers came out from Cabela's on sale, half price. So, half price, that means I can get 2 for the price of 1. That's what I did. And so this one, this is out of my cook kit. And yeah, when I go camping, car camping, I have I'll call it a camp kitchen in a rucksack. And it's got, it has in it an IKEA hobo stove and a Trangia, and this goes right along with it, and everything, all those things for cooking and that's got no problem at all, whether it's cleaning a rabbit or whatever. So these are the knives I've got, and I know there's not many, guys, and I agree, since this one is specific for hunting. This one goes with it. This Puma is an heirloom, a keepsake. My wife has passed away, and that makes it even more valuable to me because it was a gift from her so many years ago. Yeah, I might try and get that green out of the rivets, but I'm not even really worried about that. Yes, if you look at them, especially this one, well, actually all of them need a little bit of TLC, and so that's what we're going to be looking at on my next video. Hopefully that you will join me for that one as well. This is number 2 of a series of 3, and I'm just going to reach over here. I decided to cheat today, and I'm using my iPhone to control the radio, or sorry about that, my Fuji camera, because I can't see. It doesn't swing around to the side to give me a viewfinder so I can see. All the best to you. I wish you the best. Happy camping. Fishing season is coming on for Manitoba, the middle of the month, and so time to get out your fishing gear. Don't forget your filleting knife. You got to have that one. And yes, I'll probably be looking for a camp knife, one that doesn't have to be as rugged as the SRK, and that's I envision in my future. It may not come until the end of May, but I expect this summer sometime it'll come. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming, stopping by. Please do like, subscribe, and leave comments. Always comments are welcome. Constructive criticism is a good way of teaching me, and I appreciate that because I still haven't come up with a foolproof method yet for editing my videos. All the best now. I wish you well. Have a good day.